Hey guys, it's Rick from Roll With The Punches here, and I wanted to give an update. I've been posting some stuff on my Twitter, but I haven't been posting a lot of stuff here. I wanted to be able to do a video, but I really didn't feel up to doing a video until now. Luckily, back in the gym, I've been able to work out again, largely recovered from the surgery. So, thumbs up. Had to go to the ER for some pain in my side. Thought it was appendicitis. Wasn't. It was like an inflammation in the intestines or something. So that is painful, but I can't hurt it more from working out. So I got the okay from the doctor. So I'm here, and I've needed the workouts because it's been about a month, I think, since I've had to stop pretty much cold turkey. It's one of the main ways that I deal with my stress and anxiety. So the anxiety and the panic disorder has been, as bad as it's ever been. But in good news, I feel like I'm stronger than I've ever been. So my mental state hasn't been quite as in despair, I would say, dealing with the intense feelings of anxiety, dread, and the panic attacks. Like the panic attacks, I can deal with most of them, but like sometimes when something unexpected happens, like with the side pain or something, or like if my body's already in a state of exhaustion or like my nervous system's wrecked, like those ones can be really bad. And that's what panic disorder is like you get sort of a post-traumatic stress from the panic attacks, and you're so worried about having another panic attack that you have more panic attacks, and they just kind of keep happening. So it's been back to that, but I have felt much better these last 3 days than I had been. So I didn't feel like I was able to really make any videos. It probably would have been useful to like talk about it, but I don't know. I just didn't feel up to it. But it's feeling better now. Starting to get there. Still feeling kind of rough. I'm mainly stressed about the London trip, which I'll talk about in a second. But there's other stressful things too. I talked about on the podcast, but working on a new website for Roll With The Punches, Pokemality, Blind Wave, Wave Squadron, everything together. But it's a huge project, and there's still all of the normal Blind Wave stuff to do, all the reactions, all the business side of stuff, keeping the current website up and running. And so I have a team working with me, but it's a huge project that's eaten a lot of time, and a lot of time that would have normally went to like Roll With The Punches or something like that. It's gonna launch relatively soon, so I'm super excited for that. I'm very proud of how it's coming along, and can't wait for you guys to see it. But that's been stressful, mainly just not having the time that I've wanted to devote to it is the most stressful part, I think. But the London trip has definitely been the roughest thing. And it's one of those things that like, I feel bad talking about it because I get to go to another country for work. I get to go to Star Wars Celebration. Like that's a lot of people's dreams to do that kind of thing. And like, it feels like a nightmare to me. I don't like complaining about something that some people feel so great. And it's not that I'm complaining necessarily. It's just, it's been a lot of culmination of like the worst possible things leading up to this trip for me. Taking much longer to recover from the surgery, like new stomach pains. I've been having a lot of problems with acid reflux, probably from the stress and such. Just all these things that has pretty much laid me up. Like I haven't been able to do any physical activity for the last month leading up to this trip, which I knew I was going to be stressed about anyway, but I figured I would be able to recover and have like 2 or 3 weeks of like exercise and stuff to help me prepare for it, but I didn't get any of that. And now we're leaving in 5 days? I don't know. Next week. And yeah, like travel anxiety's always been terrible. It's probably largely the autism. Just unexpected things are not great. New environments are not great. New people aren't great. I mean, they are great and they aren't great. Like it's it's fun to meet people and to talk to people, but it's also a painful experience. So there's sort of a balance there. Like, I want to do it, but it drains a lot from me, and like, there's going to be a lot to do. It's going to be very draining just getting there. You know, my first time internationally, I'm going to be on a plane for a long time. I don't love being in places that I can't escape from, so you know, that's sort of a plane for you. Also, as part of the anxiety or the panic attacks, like, I get a lot of stomach pains, I get diarrhea, so like, not being worried about there not being like a bathroom that I could get to quickly is stressful and anxiety fueled. You know, there's just a lot of things that your mind, especially a mind that's frayed from other stuff, just attaches onto when you have anxiety. And I think autism too. I think we get fixations, and a lot of times my fixations are negative things that bring me anxiety. So when I'm not thinking about anything else, my mind goes back to the London trip and all of the different things that could go wrong and the things to like worry about. And a lot of it's just, you know, having panic attacks. And if you worry about having panic attacks, then you have panic attacks. And, you know, but they're not the end of the world. I've had a lot of them. I try to write them down and rationalize them and go over the most likely scenario. Maggie has been incredible trying to plan for every contingency to make sure that like there's as few stressful things as possible throughout the trip. The last couple trips I've taken haven't been as bad, but growing up and, you know, before the last year or two, trips have always been super stressful for me. Like, I've missed out on a lot of opportunities to go places growing up. Had opportunities to go to like Cancun, Mexico, Washington DC and stuff, but there was so much anxiety and panic about it that I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And I know that that is the wrong thing to do, because then your world starts to shrink. As you give in to the anxiety gets validated and thinks, oh, I did a good job protecting you from this dangerous thing, so I'm going to do that even harder next time. So that's why for the London thing, like, no matter how bad it gets, like, there's no choice for me. Like, I have to go. And, you know, it's a little easier because I am taking my wife and daughter with me, and I want them to experience that. So that's like another reason for me to go, not just to make it so the anxiety and panic stuff is not worse in the future, but also, you know, for them as well. So, like, no matter what, definitely going. So that does help alleviate some of the stress, not having that out. And I can get back in and exercise now. So if you see me at the airport, I might be doing some shadow boxing in order to get some of that stress out. They probably won't let me do that on the plane, but some breathing exercises and things I can do. I have different ways to distract me. I do have medication for the panic attacks themselves, which usually do help, but it's not the kind of thing that you want to take all the time. Some of it is like looking past it into the future. So like, my brain, it's a fight or flight response. So it is making this trip to be like a life and death danger. And you know, it gives you all of those physical symptoms that you would get in a situation like that. Like, if, you know, our bodies are designed to get us from danger, from, you know, being chased by a tiger or something like that. But our bodies are not designed to have that over a long period of time. It's like a very, you know, burst in the moment thing, get away from the danger or defeat the danger and then be okay. But when there's no real danger to defeat or get away from, your body just gets in a loop and you're flooded with those chemicals and the adrenaline and everything, and it really wrecks you. But yeah, so looking past the trip, we had some car troubles, and I drive a pretty old car anyway. I think it's like a 98 or something like that. But so I need to get a new car. So like, looking past the trip and being like, okay, like, I can reward myself doing this trip by getting a new car that I need, or just things past it. So like that, my brain wants to tell me like, if you do this thing, like, that's the end. But tricking my brain and being like, no, that's not the end. There's things past it, things to be excited about, new websites to launch, new stuff to do with Roll with the Punches, car shopping, like that kind of thing. So that's been something. I wasn't able to exercise, but I've had been doing a lot of karaoke with Evie at home. I have like a computer program, and that has been a good stress reliever, I've found. So that's a new thing I've added to my toolbox that I didn't really realize before. So if I go through this again, or as I get older and am able to do less physically, like maybe that's something, and I can keep searching for more of those things to add to my toolbox. So it hasn't been a fun experience, but every experience is something that you can learn from. And it doesn't matter how negative it is, it can have a positive impact on your life. I think I'll feel better once I pack this weekend as well. Like, it's tough because I think planning some stuff would help me feel better, but like it's so stressful to think about. Don't really want to plan, so Maggie's been doing a lot of the planning. But I think there's a right amount of planning that would make me feel better. I've definitely in the past have like over planned and tried to, like, I pack everything. I try to plan for every contingency, and that just makes me more stressed. So I think there's a right level in there that I'm gonna try to find this weekend, maybe as I'm packing. We'll see. That's something I need to continue as well. If you struggle with travel anxiety, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below on like how you deal with it or how you plan for trips that you're worried about. And then having Evie there with me, I think will be good as well, because like she makes me stronger, like being with her, and I want it to be a good experience for her. So I try not to, hide how I feel from her. Like I've had panic attacks with her around and stuff like that. I'm always worried they're gonna bother her much more than they do, but she's fine. Like I've explained to her that they can't hurt me, and it's just a part of like who I am and kind of how my body deals with stressful things sometimes. But having her will be really good. She'll be sitting next to me on the plane, so we can kind of do things together, and like her excitement and enthusiasm can override a lot of my negative emotions. So that'll be good. And having Maggie there will be fantastic. Most of the trips that I've done before with Blind Wave, she wasn't there, and I was able to go through those. And that's an important thing too, is just reminding yourself of all the successes that you've had. And like, sure, I was stressed to go on the trips, and I had some negative things for Blind Wave, the different trips we've taken, but I survived them, and I was okay on the other side of it. And just reminding yourself of that for this instance. And I have more tools now than ever to deal with it. So even if it is a bigger trip than I've ever taken before, I have more tools, and I think it'll be okay. Talking to other people who are nervous helps too. There's other people going on the trip that are kind of nervous, so realizing you're not the only one, and that there's a right level of nervousness, or it's okay to feel the nervousness helps as well. I hope that this experience will help me even more for the next one. And like, I probably shouldn't wait as long. I mean, COVID certainly has impacted things, but when it comes to trips, I probably shouldn't wait as long. I should probably ride that success into another one quicker. I think that will be better. Because I have been feeling really good with anxiety and things, but it didn't take very long and very many failures for me to feel like I was right back where I started, having the anxiety and the panic attacks. Like, it's easy for successes to build upon each other, but it's easy for failures to do that too. And so just being able to work out for that first time and feel that strength again was huge. And that has made a huge impact and turning point towards me. And I've felt a lot better these last few days about it. So I'm starting to lose my voice. I've talked too long for this update, probably. But once I get back to London, definitely want to do some more Roll with the Punches stuff. We'll be able to do even more once the new website launches, which I'm excited about. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. It's been rough, but I'm getting back to it. And that's a good feeling too. Just being able to get out of those dark times again. So thank you guys for watching this. Thank you for supporting Roll with the Punches. There's a lot of content that is repeatable, so I haven't felt too bad about not putting out new stuff, because it takes a long time in order to master some of those things that I've shown so far, but I definitely want to get back to it. I definitely want to get out there and roll with the punches. Thanks guys, I'll see you later.